Good afternoon and welcome to the nighttime. That's good evening, rather. I'm on the weather now. It's not easy. And welcome to the nighttime heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. I sincerely apologize for my voice. I'm under the weather. It's a cold season now. However, rest assured, I'm here. This program is being relayed on Radio Gagema, that is in the Nimba County, Kwatika in Bonk, and of course, Radio Wulagisi in Lofa County, where our dear president hails from. We are also streaming live on the Nighttime Heat Facebook page, and of course, our YouTube page as well, our YouTube channel. Just what you do, go to where they have the search out of the YouTube or the Facebook, and of course, you tap Nighttime Heat, 3 words, after which you're going to follow the show, and of course, you share the show as well. Besides, we are also streaming live on Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. So it means we are streaming live on 3 major platforms. So I wanted to share tonight's edition. It promises to be very, very intriguing. My panelists, Moses Sandy and George Kennedy, will shortly join me. And of course, our guests will join us. That is at 8:30 tonight. And of course, let me just bring you up to speed to what we'll be discussing tonight. The topics we'll be treating. The General Auditor Commission recently, a few days ago, released an audit report, and indicated that some 2.8 million has not been accounted for. But in a pushback, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning welcomed that audit report, and of course, and also said it's a significant progress in key financial areas. But then the ministry went further to tell us more about that 2.8 million. So tonight we'll be looking at that mainly, looking at the Ministry of Finance, press statement, its reaction to the GAC audit report. We'll be looking at that. We'll read the entire statement, and of course, our guests will be giving you their own analysis on the Ministry of Finance reaction. Also, you know that the government has reduced prices of our country's staple food, rice and flour. But are those reductions sustainable? We'll be looking at that, are they sustainable? We'll be looking at that. And of course, our third topic will be looking at tonight. Yesterday, Montreal County Senator Darius Dalum appeared on Punch FM. We have the video here. And of course, they're asking about the economy. He said that the economy is still in the septic tank, left there by the Congress of Democratic Change administration. Well, so is Darius Dalum's statement a mockery of the CDC or a mockery of this administration? Because when he says that it is still in the septic tank, it means that the administration has not done nothing at all. This administration has not done nothing at all. So we'll play what the Ministry of Finance told us just a few days ago about the strides, the incremental progress being made. And of course, we'll also play what Darius Dalum has said, looking at the contradiction, if there's any contradiction. So tonight, it promises to be fantastic, and of course, promises to be intriguing. Please don't go away. Like I said, I'm on the weather, so kindly bear with me, my voice. However, I'm here along with my producers, and of course, one of my panelists has just joined, George Kennedy, just joined. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, and good evening to the Liberian people and to our wonderful technicians who have been sacrificing a lot, making sure that we come on and will be heard, and our people hear from us, and they also called in to make their input. Thank you very much.
And I also want to thank you, George, for your consistency, in appearing on this program. I really appreciate that. We'll be right back, listeners and viewers. We wanted to share the show. Can you share the show? Because tonight it promises to be very, very intriguing. Let me give you the list of some of those who will be appearing, or all of our guests, in fact, will be appearing on the program. Representative for the Fambule, I understand he's the House Committee Chair on the Economy. You'll be appearing also on the program via link. Representative Small Morba also will be appearing. Mr. Wanto Tiawanto will be joining us at 8:30. Mr. Martin Topa also will be appearing. He's again.
The head of all the coordinators of the Unity Party.
Okay, the head of all the coordinators. Okay, yeah. You'll be appearing also for us. And of course, Reverend Dr. Chris Toll, he's the Secretary General, the Chief Scribe of the Council of Churches. They got a very big community. You'll be appearing with us. And of course, our own man, David Cody will be appearing as well. That is at 8:30 tonight. We'll be right back after the scene. Don't go away. Let's start, and of course, we've started already. We are here, so don't go away. Let's first, talk about this video. Representative Smo Molba, I think today or yesterday, I'm sure today, visited the home, that's the rehabilitation home of the at-risk youth, and he made some donations. But there was something sparking. Something, in fact, troubling, not sparking, but no, troubling that we heard in that video when he took the items there. Let's try to upload the video, then play quickly.
The lawmaker, I found that I have roughly about 15 young men there from my district. So I think with the process of rehabilitation, it's necessary that from our district we come in. So there is nothing politics, nothing about propaganda. What we just say is that the government is doing well, and as a public servant working on behalf of our people, representing the people as the people deputy, we have to come in to help government. So in this light, we came with 10 deck of ride. What we promise you, the 50-inch TV, along with the DSTV, the flashlight. We included raincoat for the officer for security at night. We have vehicle, we have the cops, and we also have the big co-pot, right? And it's from our heart. We will always come in to help, right? We can assure you maybe before the end of this month, we come in to make sure that what you guys do, we support it. So just keep on doing, because most of it is volunteer job. I know nothing much in it, but because all our young people, we have to please them. So we support the process with our little mark. We'll come in every time. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Smoke from District 3. On behalf of Enterprise RC and my directors, I'm the camp manager for this camp, for the holding camp of the disadvantaged youth. Yesterday, as we stated here, our niece, at least, is coming out to help these disadvantaged youth, because this problem is all of us problem. It's not one man problem. But at least all the representatives yesterday, you're the first to step in. So on behalf of Enterprise RC, in absence of my director as a camp manager, I would like to say thank you. And as he just stated, more to come. Because our priority now, I think, see the fence, and you saw it yesterday. But the man can be set when you decide to leave drugs. If the person decides to leave drugs, I don't care how that fence is high or low, they make up their mind. But if the person don't decide, I don't care how you make that fence high up, they will still run away. But through you people give to us, I know everything will work out fine and will be a successful for we all. So we'd like to say thank you again, AfroPower and our partners, Youth and Sport, MOH, and our securities, people that are guarding this place, the DEA, the police, and the Community Watch Forum. They are doing well. We'll distribute the vehicle to them because they are here at night, on the rain, to keep the place safe. So we'd like to say thank you, and let more come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to the president, thank you so much for getting our young people here and rehabilitating them. We all will help to push your agenda. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's welcome Moses quickly. Moses, in fact, listen to the entire video. Moses, let me welcome you to the Nighttime Heat.
Thank you, Sabat. George, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening. As usual, teaming up is something that I always look forward to. So I want to say thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, so let's begin with you, Moses. We're hearing some sound in the back. The Moses, please.
Let me adjust. Do you hear me now?
Yes, you are. You are.
Is it okay?
Yes, okay. But let's hear from you, Moses, first, before I can go to George. You listened to this video when Representative Smoke Morba went to make some donations, and something also I'm sure you might have heard also that some of those who were some of the at-risk youth had already left the center. What's your take regarding that?
Well, as I watch the video, as a professional in the business, let me come from the strength perspective first. Let me demonstrate gratitude.
We have only 50 minutes.
You hearing me, right? Let me express gratitude to Representative Morba for taking all the time to go to see our brothers and sisters who are being assisted with treatment. But what is currently happening in Salvo, it is not sustainable. And this is why we say the government has no plan. The role of the LRRC, I want people to listen to me. The role of the LRRC is not to treat people with substance use. You bundle people up, you carry them to a holding camp, a holding facility managed by people who have no education in the treatment of people who struggle with substance use. You basically warehousing these people. You heard the man, he said some of the people are already left. Basically, nothing they're doing, they're just feeding them. The detoxification, you heard him talk about it. The health ministry, they are being able to provide some medication to help them detox so that they don't die. But that is not enough. So what good is it to bring a group of people? You just put them one little place, you give them food to eat. Nobody teaching skill. Nobody has evaluated whether these people have mental health problem or not. Look, as a government, we are not ready.
Okay, let's leave it there, Moses. It sounds very troubling. Let me hear from you, George.
Yes, technically, from Moses, from Mr. Sunday's perspective, when it comes to how it's supposed to be done properly, we are not there yet. I agree. But this effort, I don't want to rule it out. What really is happening is that we just need to empower these people. LRRC is not only for external refugees, it's also for internal. Those people, technically, they may be considered people who are internally displaced, taking them from various homes and carrying them to a specific place. It's very, very necessary for LRRC to get account of them also. Yes, it's true, it could be resource constraint, Moses as a technician looking at strategic costing and taking care of those people the way it's supposed to be. Like, it's true, we're not there yet. That is not an argument. It's not a debate.
No, so then what happened again, Moses and George? I heard today, I don't know, it was the DA that said it, it conducted tests, of some of his personnel. Is that the way to start the fight against drugs, against this whole drug situation? Gathering your men and ensuring that they undergo drugs tests when we have a huge number of the youthful population, and some in ghettos and some in other areas. Is that the way the management team is starting to fight against drugs? Moses, let me hear from you. Because I heard that today, I was trembling, when I heard that. Let me hear from you, Moses.
Look, Sabbath, this is what the white man calls acting in the moment, acting spontaneously. You're not thinking, you're just doing it. You just wake up in the morning. You say, this is what I'm going to do. So you do the drug test, and let me provide some education here. Drug tests, it's not because the man came today and he tested negative, it means that this man will always be negative. Mm-hmm. Some substances stay in the body for 30 days. So if the man tested positive today, the man can go after another 2-3 months. You come back, you test that man, you will be negative. And another time that man can come back and be positive. The most employers here in the United States, we go through drug tests. You get screened. The people who are in rehab, they are consistently screened. So what the LDA is doing is like putting the cart before the horse. We told these people the other day, what the ORC is supposed to be doing now is to focus on gathering data about the entity. Where are they? What are their needs? What do they need to do to tackle this problem? But you're jumping all over the place, talking about you testing people. Does he know the number of officers the LDA has? He's only doing this in Monrovia. So what about the people in Lofa? The people in Bapolu? The people in other counties? Did they also administer similar tests there today? I mean, come on, man.
Let
me hear from you, George, quickly.
I support drug tests. But is this the major priority right now? The budget process is going on right now, beginning with land ministries and agencies and the Ministry of Finance. Are we planning right now to get our strategic needs budgeted for and submitted to the Ministry of Finance? All the things we need, are we doing it right now? Are we going to wait until the legislature decides, or whoever Ministry of Finance decides what they gave us? Or are we now working on our budget proposal to the Ministry of Finance to make sure that it kind of the technical support, manpower, training, and everything, salaries and everything? But you want to start with drug tests? Good. But if you don't have the logistics or wherever you put some people who you're testing today, they will end up going back because we told you that the DEA is infected.
But the thing is, George and Moses, I'm trying to comprehend this.
I understand.
You want to fight the drugs war. You got a huge number of our youthful populations who are on drugs. They are addicted. Some of them have developed a lot of problems, medical problems as well. Should you start the fight? In your own house, you think it's the appropriate way?
Technically, you should have some level of cleanliness before you can go there. I agree. That's why I say I can't rule it out.
No, because
if you are taking the drugs and you're going to go to the ghetto to move for who's taking drugs, people are already police. You know one another. So
you should clear your own house.
I don't think it should be the first step.
It shouldn't be the first step. It shouldn't be. Like Moses said,
yes.
But right, the interim team should be able to do a full review
yeah.
of the situation at hand
Yeah.
before looking at your personnel who are doing drugs or no. But instead, you left the huge number of the young people left the
technical aspect,
the technical aspect, and then you go to say you go to
logistics.
It's troubling. But again, so what has become now of the fight, especially when this man who we heard on video, on tape, saying that some of the at-risk youth, I don't like to call them Zocos because it's demeaning. I know when I hear people calling them Zocos, I get very angry. They are not Zocos, they are at-risk youth.
Yeah.
So what happens to that center? It doesn't mean that whole center is not secured, it cannot contain, it's not safe, that some of our brothers will be taken in, and after a certain time they leave. Is that the situation on hand at that Johnsonville center?
It could be. The thing is, Mr. Sandy been speaking on this thing over and over. If that place was really equipped and ready and well secured, those people are not going to be fighting to leave.
Yeah.
First of all, when you remove those people from the street, you carry them, you want to give them good care. If you give them better care, there'll be nothing that will easily attract them from that place to just go back in the street to be floating all around.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they're eating good food, they're getting good Medicare, they're getting good place to sleep. And Representative carry DSTV and all, they get wild movies and all. That's why I really appreciate what he did.
He did extremely well.
So I think we need to do more. We shouldn't rush, even though this is a quick fix thing they want to do. They want to reduce the number of people on the street, but I think we should keep improving our area and make it better because it's necessary. If we are to win this war, we have to step up the plate. We have to inform the president directly about the challenges we are faced with and stop this issue of there being around the presidency and not discussing the real issue.
Yeah.
You need to tell the president, so we build this place, the structure is there, but there is nothing in it. I mean, we need to put this, that, these, those there to make it properly working. We need to hire so staff to put there to make sure that the place is okay. We need to pay them well so that they can. These are the things I should be discussing with the president. But all the president knows is that we're putting the infrastructure, we're going to improve it. Now when they build it, if all the record communication doesn't go to the president, I mean, those are some of the issues that we have. So we really need to take care of those things.
It's troubling. I don't know what the interim team at the DA wanted to know that some of the young men they took to that center had escaped. I don't know what they even know about that. Because if they're starting to fight, in their own home, from their own home, putting that men on a drug test and this, should that be their focus now?
I don't think they should start with
that.
Should
be their focus?
I don't think they should start with
that.
We
hope that this thing will not shame us, man. When I heard that today, I was shocked, Moses, and I said, but why? I mean, why would these people be doing this?
So they said 70 of them came positive. I saw the numbers, so I know that 70 have. So what are they going to do with the 70 officers that allegedly? Came positive?
Let's put it to the public quickly, man. Let's take some few calls before we can join our guests. We got a few minutes, I'm sure. Let's try to put it to the public, before we can take our guests in. 0778. Let me try to get the number quickly, or you can call me on 0886-540-987 on this Lone Star number 886-540-987, or this one 0778-460793. We heard today that the DA has put some of his members on a drug test. Is it the appropriate way? Is it the first step? The appropriate way to start the fight against this drug situation? Let's hear from you. And also, we heard that some of those who, in fact, they took to the center had already left. Let's hear from this caller quickly. Let's take a few calls quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. George, and good evening to your panelists.
Let's hear from you, sir, quickly.
I live particularly in my picking family. I call you from around the Pinsay end this evening.
Okay.
Let me say thanks to you for the program. For me, I want to agree with the LDA. Mr. George, I want to lie to you. Now, when you take your camera, you move into ghettos. People who are expecting to come into 4 jobs, you did not start taking the jobs. So if you're going to people to stop them from taking in drugs, you say you have to be drug free. So for me, I want to agree with them on that. We know everything, and you gotta get somewhere to start from. So that is start from that side.
So you
let it be drug free before they go to other people.
Okay, we hear you.
I want to agree with that, Mr. George.
Okay, we hear you. Thank you very much. 0778-460-793. Let's hear from you. 0778-460-793. We understand that the DA has started putting its members on drugs test today. I think some of them, he said, no, I mean, how many? No.
What, 70? Number I saw today.
70 and
70 of them.
And how many,
I didn't see the number of
people that
test about son.
0778-460-793. Do you think that the appropriate way for the DA to start this whole fight against drugs? We heard that the DA has started asking its members to undergo drugs tests. They want to know how many of their members are doing drugs, and of course, how many are not. So let's take this caller quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, people.
Let's hear from you quickly. Okay.
Yeah, people have someone. Let me appreciate one of the guests on the show that has to do with people on this. I love the analysis. It brings real sense to the discussion. I want to also say thank you for putting such a character on the show to at least inform the elaborate. All what he says as a review to the LDE, for me, I'm in the book of it. You cannot just don't start in front of God without even knowing your strength, without even knowing without even knowing your humanity, just know how I say you're with this here. Asking that it's never good that it's there, process of question. They will shoot because they are starting
on the wrong footing. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, he doesn't believe the other callers said, well, that's the appropriate way, but he said, no, they are starting on the wrong footing. Let's take this caller quickly. Yes, good evening. Yes, good evening, quickly.
Yes, sir. My name is Agent Princeton WCA calling from Beaumont.
Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
Firstly, thank you for the topics on discussion. The drug test that is talking about, some of us as agents, we appreciate that. But they need to do it the best way. They need to do it by the commander, the detail commander. Every detail in this country, they must be able to go through them and get a man that on that detail for a drug test. And anyone that got shot, they know the penalty because they put it there. But directly, some of us that in here that been serving this country, we want to see the drug test. Because from the hair and to the dump part, the bottom part, we want to see the drug test.
Okay.
Let them have test because we start having the drugs.
Many thanks. 0778-460-793. What this other caller said, that's the right way to go. Yeah. Oh, I see. Wow. Yeah. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. We understand that the DA has already started putting its men on drug tests. He said, well, that's the way to go. That's the way to start. But there are others who believe, no, they are missing a mark. There should be some comprehensive strategic plan to know as to how they start and what do they need. But instead, the DA is not focusing on the arrest youth yet. They're focusing on themselves. They say, well, we need to ensure that none of our men taking the substance in. And so today they started the process. Where do you start? You think they are missing the mark? The new interim team is missing the mark, or that's the appropriate way to start the fight against drugs? Let's hear from you quickly. Just few calls so we can join our guests. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call and you are live. For Moses, let me hear from you from the three callers, the few callers that called in. What do you think about what he said?
Okay. Do you hear me now? Well, look,
yes, I'm here.
It is obvious that when you discuss a topic like this, you're going to have mixed feedback.
Yeah.
So the people are entitled to their opinion, but the three of us here agree that in order to move forward as anyone taking over an organization, before you even step out of that door, you want to know what are you stepping into? What do you need? What are your challenges? If you don't know that, you just go and start turning things over, my man, you will not succeed.
Surely.
What you guys are doing is basically publicity stunt. Oh yeah, we tested this number of people. So what are you going to do with the officer who tested positive today? You dismiss them? Is that what you're going to do? You dismiss the people today? Do you know the number of officers in Lofa that are also using drugs? The number of officers in Bomi that are using drugs? You put up publicity stunt. That is basically charade.
Okay, Moses, let's read them. Yeah, George.
It's true. I expected them to have kept quiet a bit, work on the soft side, which is more technical. Get your budget prepared, the draft budget that spread us your needs, technically, professionally, material-wise, everything. Start with your internal structuring process or restructuring process and see, after you should have found out everything internally, you start placing men in the rightful places before even coming to press. But this,
so you're saying they are jumping, the new DA
they're running
interim team is jumping the gun.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Okay, so our guests are joining us gradually. I see some of them at the backstage. Tonight, listeners and viewers who want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. It promises to be very, very intriguing, so that I know you're going to join us quickly. Tonight we'll be looking at the general the GAC came up with an audit report and said that some 2-point-something million, was not accounted for. But in a pushback, in what appears to be a pushback, the Ministry of Finance responded, and said, well, it sees the audit report as a significant progress in key financial areas. In fact, the Ministry of Finance was able to clearly state to us as to the status of that 2.8 million in that report. So we'll be reading the report as soon as our guests join us. I'm sure Moses will take that initiative to read the report. That's the reaction, rather, for the Ministry of Finance, and then we look at it along with our guests. Besides our second discussion, our second topic will be treating, the government of Liberia yesterday released, a press statement announcing reductions in the prices of flour and our staple food, rice. So, is that sustainable? Are we going to sustain those reductions made? We're going to talk about that also. And then the last discussion we'll be having tonight, Senator Darius Dillon yesterday appeared on a local station. And of course, he said, the septic tank, the economy is still kicked in the septic tank. What is he saying? Is it a mockery to the CDC or a mockery to this government? Because if he can say that the economy is in the septic tank, then it means that he's trying to undo all what the Ministry of Finance has said. And those responsible for the economy, the progress they've made, and we're of course going to play the tape, recent tape of the Minister of Finance, and then we'll play the tape of Darius Dillon. Is it speaking from ignorance? Maybe he doesn't know exactly what the government has done. The government that he brought to power, maybe he doesn't know what the government has done, the incremental progress that the government has made in trying to improve the economy. Because he said it bluntly, that the economy is still in the septic tank. We'll talk about that. Let's try to welcome our guests, some of them who are still the backstage. Let's try to welcome them quickly. Honorable Sumo Morba, Reverend Chris Toll, they've already come on. Let's try to welcome them quickly to the program. Welcome, Reb, and welcome, Reverend.
Honorable Maba?
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome, Honorable.
Thank you, thank you.
I want my own DSTV set. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well today, he did well.
Thank you for the donation.
It's just what we heard. It was troubling.
Yeah.
That some of the risk youth left the center. Let's welcome Reverend Crystal as well. Reverend Dr. Crystal, welcome to the program. You are mute. Can you unmute yourself? Reverend Dr. Crystal, can you unmute yourself? You are mute. Welcome to the program.
He's talking, but...
Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, he's back.
Welcome to the program. It seems that he's still mute. He's still muted.
Thank you very much, Saba. It's a pleasure being here. Can you get me now?
Yes, we are getting you now.
Are you getting me now?
Yeah, we are getting you. We are getting you. Yes,
yeah, I said thank you. It's a pleasure being here on the night heat. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you also. Thank you. So we'll try to read the
Are you okay?
Yes, we are okay. Okay. Mr. Wanto has joined us. Wanto has also joined us. Mr. Wanto, welcome to the program.
Great. It's a great pleasure being here, Sabo.
Okay, so let's try to read the reaction of the Minister or the Ministry of Finance, the reaction to the GSC audit report. The GSC recently audited, conducting an audit and indicated that some 2.8 million has not been accounted for, but the Ministry of Finance clearly did a reaction. Let's try to read this. Moses, can you help us to read, considering my voice, please? I'm still under the weather, Moses.
Yeah, let me pull it up, okay? Let me pull the report. I hope I had it, yeah, but it keeps taking me somewhere else. But let me see if I can get it out quickly. What is this? Oh, man. There's the report you sent me. Is the link seems not to be opening. I don't know what's going on. But while I'm trying to pull it up, let me just state this. When the GSC did the audit opinion from the GSC was qualified audit opinion, meaning that the rating of the current administration at the Ministry of Finance are not an auditor. I have no background in finance. I'm a student of communication. But what I would like to say is that the GSC indicated their hey, we are pleased with your financial statements. That's what a qualified audit opinion means. That your financial statements are good. However, there are some explanations that need to be provided regarding some of the information you provided in your records. And the Ministry of Finance admitted to that. So that is far better off as compared to an average audit opinion. An average audit opinion is that you did a terrible work. There was an issue of credibility. You don't have the records to support what you say you did. That's the distinction between the two. I'm saying this to try to pull this Ministry of Finance clarification that you sent me. So, but let me try again. I hope this time it will be able to open. Okay. Oh, man. I don't know, man. The link is just not opening. Do you have it there for Josh to read it? I don't know. I try to open the link. Let me restart my system.
Let Josh read
it. Restart my system.
So the
GSC, the GSC raised concern about a little over $2 million. And that's why they asked the Ministry of Finance to provide some explanation regarding that.
Moses,
Yes, yes,
yeah, we have it here, so Josh can
yes.
read it quickly. Just read it.
So the headline goes, MFDP welcomes 2024 GAC audit report, cites significant progress in public financial management. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has officially responded to the 2024 audit report released by the General Auditing Commission, GAC, highlighting major improvement in Liberia's financial management and governance under the current administration. In the press statement issued Monday, the MFDP described the findings of the 2024 GAC audit of the government of Liberia's consolidated accounts as evidence of substantial progress, in quote, evidence of substantial progress in budget discipline, internal controls, debt transparency, and financial reporting. Audit opinion improves from average to qualified. The average to qualified is in quote, which means it is directly from the GAC. A central focus of the MFDP's response is the significant shift in the GAC's audit opinion. The 2023 report issued an average opinion, in quote, citing material misstatements and unreliable financial data due to pervasive control failures. In contrast, the 2024 audit issued a qualified opinion, an improvement the MFDP says reflects meaningful reform. This, in quote, this transition shows that most transactions were properly documented and financial statements were fairly reported in the material respects. The statement noted. Key improvements highlighted. According to the MFDP, several notable improvements were identified in the 2024 audit compared to 2023, including bank reconciliation in 2023, 473 bank accounts and 37 transitory accounts were not reconciled by 2024. 95% of accounts were reconciled, with only 5% flagged for closure. Transparency in CBR sundry accounts. The 2023 report recorded US $18.97 million under the Central Bank of Liberia's sundry account without supporting schedule. In 2024, these transactions were fully disclosed with reconciled schedules. Disclosure of restricted funds. There was no disclosure of externally restricted cash balance in 2023. However, in 2024, all such balances were fully disclosed in the financial statement. Addressing documentation gaps. The MFDP acknowledged that the documentation for 2.8 million in transactions could not be readily provided during the audit period, attributing this to archiving challenges rather than financial mismanagement. All payments were done, in quote, with proper documentation. However, locating original documents months or years later remains a recurring challenge, especially given space constraints in our physical archives, unquote, the ministry explained. To address this, the MFDP is investing in an electronic document management system, EDMS, expected to be operational in the coming months. In the interim, the ministry has begun manually scanning all transaction documents from the 2025 fiscal year onward. clarifying misconceptions. Contrary to speculation, in some quarters, the MFDP emphasized that the GAC audit did not report any missing or misappropriated funds. Of the more than 700 million executed in 2024, documentation was validated for all but 2.8 million. This is not a case of missing funds, but rather a technical issue related to document retrieval, the statement added, on expenditures and appropriations, addressing concerns over excess spending. The ministry noted that expenditures over appropriation do not necessarily imply wrongdoing. Emergency situations such as by-elections or unforeseen crises often require urgent funding outside the normal appropriation process. The ministry pointed to legal mechanisms such as the contingency reserve fund and interagency budget transfers below 2% that allow the flexibility in budget execution without prior legislative approval. Of the US 2.88 million flagged for exceeding appropriations, only the Bureau of National Concession exceeded the 20% threshold by US $373,000, which the MFDP said was used to prevent a brewing crisis. This expenditure, they added, was duly reported to the legislature, a new chapter in financial governance. In conclusion, the MFDP welcomed the GAC's 2024 audit report as a clear validation of the administration's commitment to fiscal discipline and transparency.
Okay, let's stop it at that. So let me ask all of you for your own takeaway. You listen to the Ministry of Finance. In fact, something that that are captured is that the GAC did not report any misappropriated funds, but it been speculated or been reported widely that some $2.8 million was unaccounted for, and government, the Ministry of Finance, they could not account for the money, and that was what was being spread around, putting a dent on the whole Ministry of Finance and the government as a whole. Gentlemen, you listen to the reaction of the Ministry of Finance. Let me begin with you first, Representative Molba. I know very soon Representative Fode Fambulo will be joining us. Representative Molba, let me listen to you. Let's hear your takeaway from what you read.
Thank you. I think what I gather, the GAC did make their report. And from the report, I think there was a response from the Finance Ministry, especially the minister, to that of the controller. I think what it did was to did a comparative analysis with the CDC-led government to that of the United Party government, by outlining those key areas that were mentioned within the report. One of these areas they mentioned is the issue of financial statement. They said the financial statement was misstated and unreliable 2023. But for 2024, the report, especially as it relates to material respect, for the report, it was well documented. So all of those analysis, my key issue here is where those pointed out area that the GAC mentioned, the mention of the $2.85 million, right? Yeah. That were missing. Yeah. We read the report there. What it was missing or misappropriated. But what I love about the Finance Minister is this. I think he did a very analysis with all of those issues, outlining issues. he make mention, he said, look, no money is missing, no misappropriation. Because one thing is that with the issue of misappropriation, you also have to look at the issue of document, right? He said that all these things were attributed to document management that they inherited from the past government, which was overwhelmed. So when you have an overwhelmed document, this is what I always talk about, even in the database, you always have misplaced a figure. So because of that, he also outlined those solutions by bringing in what we call the EDMS, right? The Electronic Document Management System. The Electronic Document Management System. With the EDMS, the government will be able to control those areas that they think that the report falls short. He also make mention of overspending from the Bureau entity. He make mention of the airport, public work, and the Ministry of Labor. But let me just say this. In the budget, we have what we call shifting of figures, right, after the recast. There are priority areas, major areas. It could be through the issue of emergency. It could be road network, right? You can shift the budget during the recast to make sure those priorities that government needs to hold for its people can come to fruition. So I think the analysis from the finance minister was very good. My only thing is the area of the electronic document management system. I think when he talk about the electronic document management system, I'm like wondering. Yeah, I'd like to make it clear to the Liberian people. We need to evolve from picturing, getting certain picture out there that will not be accomplished. Because in his report, he said in few months, the system will be established and it will be used. But here's the thing. He already make mention of those attributes that caused the fall short of the 2.8 million island. He make mention of an overwhelmed document. He came out to say he introduces something to EDMS. The EDMS also go along with what we call the cloud-based deployment. The cloud-based deployment go along with internet. We look at cyber security. We look at compliance, right? There's a whole lot of area, whole lot of things involved. I need a broad before I can say this system can work or it will not work. Yeah, but I think it will not work for now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think you made a very fair analysis of what your takeaway from what we read. And let's hear from you, Reverend Toh, before we can get to okay. Let's hear from you, Mr. Wanto Tia Wanto. You listened to the reading of the ministry's reaction to the GAC report, and it was clearly indicated that there was absolutely no misappropriated fund. Rather, it's contrary to what people were spreading that some $2.8 million has been unaccounted for, the GAC said, and putting a dent on the character. But let's hear from you. What's your takeaway? How do you analyze the ministry's reaction?
Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Great. There's so much to talk about here. This is very interesting. First is, this is extremely hilarious. The reason why it's hilarious because before in my second analysis we'll come to the other report, but let's point out the contradiction here. The contradiction here is that in a very report that's being framed by the Ministry of Finance, they contradict themselves in a very hard way. First, the Ministry of Finance downplayed the US $2.8 million expenditure. They describe it as an archive document. That is, they said there was limited space. Only there was limited space, and it took 5 days for the response window. The second aspect here is that the audit allowed months of preparation before the ministry had 4 months, not just 5 days to provide documentation. So that in itself shows that their justification doesn't make sense financially, economically, or in any moral terminology. So the other aspect is they claim that there was inadequate storage, which is weak in there's no way in any line of ministries or government where you manage archive document without losing millions in record. So if you say there is inadequate storage, why specifically only that documentation is missing? Let's come back to I think it was Honorable Sumo who spoke. But there's also something very interesting here. The Ministry bypassed legislative approval. I don't know if you read the report. The report also states that the ministry bypassed the legislative approval yet. It undermines the principle of budgetary oversight. Whether you support the Minister of Finance or not, a very report contradicts the very existing principles of budget oversight from the legislature that Honorable Smo is part of. The Bureau of Concession also said that there is an overspend amount of $373,000. This also justified the General Auditing Commission report that highlighted the intervention should be fully transparent, pre-authorized. So what we see here is that a very interesting scenario for us to dig deeper into it. The ministry did not contradict the report from the General Auditing Commission. In fact, the Minister of Finance and his team placed themselves in very deep hole, that require us to scrutinize their response. What I see here is a extreme contradiction. And the contradiction here is what we should be discussing, because the ministry has accepted the fact that there is excess expenditure and the cultural expectation also is very low as well. This is what I'm going to add. In my next report, I would like to talk more about the audit report and show how the ministry contradicted itself more and more from the audit report.
Okay. So let's hold you there and hear from Reverend Dr. Christo. I'm sure you might have read the ministry's reaction. Let's hear from you. What's your takeaway? Kindly unmute yourself. You are speaking, but we are not hearing you. Kindly unmute yourself. Hello? Reverend Dr. Christo, kindly unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself. Okay, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by stations across Monrovia, Wologisi, Kwatiket, and of course Gegema in the Nimba, Lofar, and Bonk. We are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Likewise on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are streaming live. Reverend Toll, are you back now? It seems that it's still muted. Yeah. Okay. Let's hear from you, Moses. I'm sure you wanted to come in, Moses.
Yes. This is where I would like to come in on the report from the GAC is what they call a qualified audit opinion, meaning that hey, the Ministry of Finance did well, good rating. However, there are concerns, which has to do with what? Documentation. The GSC did not say that the Ministry of Finance got an A. The Ministry of Finance got a B based on what the GSC audit showed. Now, hey, you did some good work, but we have concern about some of your expenditure because you don't have the records to support them. The records are not verifiable. That's what a qualified audit opinion is. When you have a qualified audit opinion, is that they want you to go back and make some correction on some of the red flags that the auditing agency has identified. A qualified audit opinion is far better off as compared to an adverse audit opinion. An adverse audit opinion, which the Ministry of Finance referred to in its press statement, that goes back to 2023, the administration of former President Weah. At the time the GSC audited, the audit report indicated that, hey, the Ministry of Finance, the financial records were terrible. They lacked trust. They have credibility problem. That's why they gave them an adverse audit opinion, that they needed to correct a lot of problems. Now they have seen a progression from 2024 to now. But this does not in any way mean that the Ministry of Finance doesn't have to correct any problem. The GSC clearly indicated that, hey, you're doing some good work, but these are our concerns. You don't have records to show for some of your expenditure. I just wanted to provide that information.
Okay, yeah, come quickly.
I love to what Mr. Sandy just said. I wanted to, first of all, inform Honorable Moba that the cloud-based system is very possible. You can see the banks around here.
Okay.
All right. The software the banks using very simple. Government can acquire the same thing, and then have it in the agencies to facilitate it, to have it done. And for to call hacking, if they are well secure, most of them well secure, and they will improve accountability. So I support the Minister of Finance when they say they're going for it. The Minister of Finance very clear in our statement I just read. Besides the Bureau of Concession, they address the issue of the incident, the shooting incident that occurred in 2024 in Grand Cape Mount County. That's where they spend our SS 370,000 United States dollars. That's what that statement referring to. No other entity spend above or transfer above the 2% budgetary transfer requirement as provided for in the financial management laws of Liberia. So once you adhere to that law in your budget process, it's a responsible governance. Okay. So I don't know where Mr. Wanto is coming from.
Now,
so the ministry told us clear that they're going to scan immediately. They're going to begin scanning all government documents and stuff, those financial documents, so that they can be properly accounted for. And so people they've been carrying it around. So it's a good step in the meantime, before they can install the cloud-based system.
Okay.
But let me please have 1 second. 1 second push back quick, Sabah.
Yeah, Super, can I come in?
Very interesting. Just where I came from with that statement. Just 1 minute. It's very important. What we are discussing here, we're not discussing child play conversation in terms of the corruption allegation on the Ministry of Finance. The report is as clear as possible. The audit report revealed that 2.8 million, over 2.8 million, was done without adequate supporting documents, that is invoices, contract, receipt, or completion of certificates. There were 2 transactions from the Ministry of Finance that were flagged in this report. US 17,400, which is 60% funding for a budget orientation workshop. US 11,600, 40% funding for the same workshop. Beyond that, there's misclassification of transaction. The Ministry of Finance misclassified operation and salary payment as grant. The other fund institution at Grand Crew Technical College received both salary and operational funds on a grant allocation. Beyond this, there is unauthorized excess expenditure. The Ministry of Finance has $2.8 billion in excess of the approved budget for 2024 budget with allocated approval. So we shouldn't be having this kind of conversation and then someone saying, well, want to come from all this stuff. Did you read the report?
1 minute. Yes, George.
I wanted to ask Mr. Wanto, the word he used, misclassify. What does it mean in financial management?
Misclassify? Oh, but that's where I'm coming from. The justification from the Ministry of Finance shows that the document were archived. They provide no substantiation to the misclassification. So let's discuss the Ministry of Finance response. Let's discuss the Ministry of Finance response in terms of this allegation.
This is no child play. When they tell you this is misclassified, it means that maybe it should have been like spending the money on Prime FM, but you actually spend it on Truth FM. So the money should already be spent in Prime FM. That's misclassification. So what do you want to tell the public that somebody thinks it's misclassified?
That's a lie. I don't know where you came from with your definition of misclassification, but this is also a blatant lie as well. What we see here is we see budget distortion, where salaries and operational expenses are reoccurring, and expenditure that directly should reflect the cost of running a government institution is being reported by the Ministry of Finance on a misclassification. Just start deceiving people here with this arcane economic knowledge. There is even accountability gap here. We see a lot of accountability gap. Grants are typically economic thing. Let me just end on this for about just 1 minute. I beg you. This is very important because we came here to have a critical conversation.
Yes, quickly.
Grants are typically discretionary, and they are transferred with harder trace in terms of economic output and input. If the audit committee provide this sort of distortion in terms of lack of report, in terms of lack of invoices, in terms of lack of contractual evidence, honor the very spending of the Ministry of Finance, and their report basically says that, oh, we archive the document, then you can't talk about misapplication. What's the definition of misapplication when it comes to risks of fraud? When salary is being reported as grant, when they open the possibility that ghost institution or project can receive grant money that in practice serve no economic function. Just stop this sort of discussion. It's very embarrassing, honestly.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. Yes, Representative Moluba, you can come in.
Yeah, for the financial aspect, we're coming to that discussion very soon, right? I just want to see how both guys go with the flow of the discussion. But let me just correct Mr. Josh. Mr. Josh, we were discussing the EDMS, the Electronic Document Management System, and you make mention to the bank using it like no. That's not what the bank are using. The bank used the core banking system that where we have document generation to that of the core storage of those documents. For the EDMS, we have central storage, we have security, we have audit trails, right? And we have the version control. So there are two different systems. When I'm saying that it has to do with the operation of a cloud-based system, right? And you say no to that, Mr. Josh, that's my area. And I'm telling you what I know. The same thing that happened with the national ID card. When I told them, they felt that we were lying. They went into it, and the president put a halt to it. Now you have professional people in Liberia to do the job. So when we are saying things, we know it about it, we say it out. So when you come and say, no, this is not how it works. It worked this way.
Your doubt is the capacity to host a document. I said, no, it's possible. You said it's not feasible. I said, no, it is. That's an argument, right? And that's a debate. It is.
You said that they use the system in the bank. And that's not what that's the system in the bank.
I said it's almost like the same system. It is almost like the same system in the bank. You can host the document.
They are not the same. They are not the same.
I use it when I work with a newspaper. I use it, even though not exactly the same. They want to need bigger capacity. It is. It all holds that cloud system.
Okay, let's hold you there. Reverend Toll, are you back? Reverend Toll? You come back?
Yes, sir.
Toll. Okay, fine. You've been off and on.
I'm online. I'm online, but the network is very bad.
Okay, so you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay, so let's
hear I'm hearing you. Are you getting me?
Yes, let's hear from you about your takeaway. I'm sure you listened to the reading of the Ministry of Finance press statement reacting to the GSC audit. Let's hear your takeaway.
Okay, thank you very much. I listened to the reading. I even read it online. And when audits are conducted, you gave the institutions there that was audited the opportunity to respond to the opinion of the auditor based on the findings. And so coming back after the response and the GSC reflecting the issue of the 2.8 million, whether it was not termed as money got missing, but it has to do with the whole issue of misapplication, then it's an issue that the NFDP need to respond to. And I think it's important for our democracy in terms of transparency and accountability that these things are flagged out. Remember, in 2019.
Reverend, let me hold you there. The Ministry of Finance has already responded to that. And of course, let me read what I have here. Of the 2.8 million flagged for exceeding appropriations, only the Bureau of National Concessions exceeded the 20% threshold by US 373000, which the MFDB said was used to prevent a brewing crisis. This expenditure, the added, was duly reported to the legislature. So that was the reaction or response of the ministry. Besides, let me read again this major response from the ministry also. Let me try to get it out. Fine. All payments were done with proper documentation. However, locating original documents months or years later remains a recurring challenge, especially given space constraints in our physical activities. Now, the thing is, Reverend and Wanto and Representative Molba, the ministry they didn't outrightly dismiss the report or the audit report of the GSC. Rather, the ministry acknowledged it and welcomed it and said it's significant progress in some key areas. And like Moses was saying, it's a graduation from adverse opinion to qualified opinion. So when one achieves a qualified opinion, you know what it means? It's a progress. So with the whole noise about 2.8 million, the ministry has clearly stated how that was expended. Again, let's hear from you, Reverend Dr. Christo, with the clarification I made to you or the information I gave you.
No, but Sober.
I'm coming. Reverend Toll, are you there?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yes, okay.
No, I'm there.
So you can continue now.
Yeah, so I stated, okay. I stated yes. The opinion was responded to. However, the issue, the report, like you said, the clarifications made, and the issue is that is welcoming. It's the issue of challenge reflected, and also the issue of transparency revealed, and it is welcoming that at least the ministry is able to acknowledge the challenge with regard to some of the agencies of government that responding within the framework of the application.
Okay, it seems that your internet does have a problem. Yes, Representative Molba, you wanted to come in.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Wanto.
Yes, Robert. Let me just say something quickly. What I would like to say here is that look, the Ministry of Finance acknowledged that the qualified opinion from the GSC, some of the concerns raised by the GSC are legitimate concerns. For the fact that the minister said, hey, we're trying to improve on our documentation, it's an acknowledgement that, yes, we have a problem and we need to solve this problem. That's what he's talking about. The GSC say, hey, my man, on the average, you guys are doing a great job. You made some expenditures, but we don't see the records to tell us how that money was used. go and correct these problems. The minister comes and say, yes, we acknowledge that we have a problem. Our expenditures were legitimate. However, we will do this to correct this in the future. I just want people to be clear on that. That the GSC, whatever that came from the GSC, the ministry accepted that, hey, they have a problem and they are willing to solve the problem.
Just in addition to what Moses said, let's understand that this whole thing that the fiscal audit for the ministry for 2024, all the functionaries of government, their expenditure, revenue and expenditure that they report that they're talking about here. So it's not just Ministry of Finance corrupting, though.
Yeah.
As my brother tried to understand this thing. So the acknowledgement is very positive for proper economic management in our country. And the proposal for improvement of that particular system, that's why I was very appealing to the representative here, so that, you know, when that budget goes there, when that kind of topic, thank God you all understand what we're talking about this documentation process. And that's why I like him, because it always appear on the show. It's good to finance these things because they cut down waste, they cut down a lot of things. Some of these type of material misstatement. Sometimes you find out that the money the person may not have actually used it for any wrong purpose, but because they didn't get the hand on this raw document moving around, you find that the reporting time came. So that's why the GSC were very careful in not telling them that you corrupted this as this and that, because it's professional.
Now,
more than $700 million expended. 2.85 million, 2 million, 850 million, $850,000 cannot be accountable when we spread it over. Sometimes, technically, in this kind of economic system, it's not consequential much. We can really say, because it's manual system.
Now, gentlemen, what is troubling is that the way the report was ran with, the way people responded. I mean, ran with the report, especially some media institutions and some quote unquote talk show hosts, that $2.8 million was unaccounted for
at the Ministry of Finance.
At the Ministry of Finance. Hearing that, Moses, what comes to your mind about the sort of perception people have for one another? What comes to your mind, Moses, when you hear the way people spread the news of $2.8 million not accounted for, before even the Ministry of Finance came up with the press statement, explaining and reacting? What came to your mind, Moses, about the way people?
Honestly speaking, when I read about that and I heard other media institutions discussing it, I was a little bit, disappointed that such thing was happening at the Ministry of Finance. But after the ministry came out with its own clarification, acknowledging what the GSC had already reported, that, hey, you did a great job, but we don't see records for these, and they say, hey, we're going to solve this problem. I think they are on the right track. They're on the right track. Yeah. That's what I can say.
Mr. Wanto. Okay, it seems that he's.
Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, you can come in. You can come in.
Please show your face.
You can come in.
So my point here is, in as much as one of the critical things I see here missing is the level of honesty in our conversation, and I think we should strive for it. This is a very serious stuff. Whether you support the government or not, the statement from the Minister of Finance. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Wanto. Hello, you getting me?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. What is the contradiction you're making reference to? Because the ministry came up to say, look, yes, we have a problem, and we are currently investing in that documentation management system, because the reason why we couldn't have made some of the documents available It's because of the
Our
limit
archives.
our archival problem, and we are trying to address it. So where do you see that the ministry is not being honest with this response?
Yeah, it's a lot. One is there's so much contradiction here. Let's try to build that certain. And I said that in my opening. There's proper documentation versus missing documentation. The Ministry of Finance say all payment were done in a proper documentation, but then admit that of the more than US 700,000, more than US 700 million spent in 2024, the GSC saw the documentation for all transactions except for the transaction amount of 2.8 million. So the contradiction here is that if all payment have proper, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
The contradiction is if all statements have proper documentation, how can US 2.8 million remain undocumented? Both statements cannot be true in honor setting. The other aspect is the Ministry of Finance said that the audit report did not state that any money was missing or misappropriated. But they later blame, in the same report, they later blame that the US 2.8 million alluded to could not be readily found in the Ministry of Finance Development archive within 5-day period. So the very the contradiction in this statement is that if documentation cannot be found out, there's no way to verify whether funds were misappropriated or not. There was also budget compliance versus excess expenditure. The Ministry of Finance say excess expenditure or appropriation does not necessarily imply wrongdoing. But in the same report, they admitted that a Bureau of National Concession expenditure exceeded appropriation by US 373,000, which means that the public work remained below the 20% threshold. So in this, they acknowledge that overspending, which they spoke about in the report, but then in a very acknowledgement, they also deny that it is wrongdoing. Even through the PFM Act, they require legislative approval for such assets. That's why I spoke to Sumo about it, and I said in the very report, they bypass the legislative approval. A violation of the very PFM Act or that's been laid out in public financing. So there is also system for the OOM archive. We still don't know what the justification of the archive yet. The Ministry of Finance Development claimed that this is a reflection of the fact that most transactions were properly documented. But in the same place, they also claim that the archive was overwhelmed due to limited space to store documents for multiple fiscal years. The contradiction here is that there is proper documentation. It requires accessibility, retrievability in any setting. If the archives are being overwhelmed and documents cannot be retrieved, then transaction cannot be publicly documented.
Okay.
So there's so much here. Look, so in reality, we have to be honest with this kind of conversation and stop being partisan, driven or trying to be able to use our economic knowledge to sabotage the truth. That is where I have a disagreement with Josh, who using misapplication now to be able to fool elaborate people. This is beyond misapplication. There is fundamental revelation here that the Ministry of Finance have not even shown any justification to how they can be able to support this.
Okay.
One, two.
Okay. Thank you. One, two. Yeah, George, quickly.
Yeah, can I come in, please? Can I come in?
Yeah.
I just want to give you, let me get feedback to one, two, please.
We'll have to go to our second discussion quickly.
Yeah, I think we are discussing the 2024 report, right? Not 2025 report.
Yeah.
So I just want to inform one, two. We have what we call recasting of the budget. When you are recasting the budget, you shift from one area to another. So at that point, anything could happen. So when you make mention of whether Honorable Smo, whether the legislature have knowledge on what happened, I would say yes, because there was a recast. This is 2024 we're talking about, not 2025. So there was a recast. So it's possible that there was a change, right, of shipment from one entity to another. And I see like public work, they are doing a whole lot of work. And we have other emergencies that come in. So there could be an increment as it relates to spending. So I cannot hold the government responsible for that. Another area you make mention of was the $2.8 million, right? And you're talking about the budget. Holistically, we're talking about the budget. And the budget, let us understand that when the minister make reference to those attributes where he made mention of traditional inheritance of the document management system, right? That have overwhelmed. Remember now, the threshold was 700 million plus. We are discussing 800 million plus. So there's a difference. There's a slight increasement. So traditional stuff you have for 700 million, it did not contain the 800 million. Anything can happen in between there. So there is nothing, it's not much to say 2.8 million. If you look at 2.8 million of 800 million, it's just a little amount. So I see that someone this document, it's not about someone taking money missing. I think the money is there, but it's just like the time given for the other period. That's all. Thank you.
And I also think that my brother is conflicted over the budget process in his country. I think he needs to understand our budget process, not to just go read something and it's a process. And look, that statement that the Ministry of Finance issued, they were very clear. Some of the areas where they think that were challenges, they told you the Bureau of Concessions. The Bureau of that crisis that went on, your people. You talk about, we heard people say that was shooting in Cape Mountain, they killed into this and that, all of those things. That was emergency spending. They never had to go to legislature at that time.
Okay, gentlemen, we have
even the airport, they did some spending. They were not part of the budget, but they spent.
To take emergency action, you put ballot point in the PFM law. They can do it and then go back to the legislature, present the evidence of the
law. He needs to look at the law. Doing the argument.
3 times in 2024. That my brother is not aware of. He just come in anyway. We accept it when he said we're trying to discuss that away.
Oh, Mr. Martin.
I'm not Unity Party, but I'm just speaking the truth.
He calling me Unity Party, but he's not sedition. He's not looking at that 2023 budget. I mean, they are already report.
Gentlemen, let me take Mr. Tupa because Mr. Tupa tried, coming through, but unfortunately he couldn't. I see he's trying to call direct. Let me try to put it on quickly. Yes, Mr. Tupa. Good evening.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, your internet it's
supposed to call direct.
Yeah, just call direct. Call direct. Your internet has has a serious problem. Just call direct. Well, gentlemen, I think what I see is that and I stand to be corrected. Representative Mulbard and Wanto Tier Wanto and to all of us on this show, I think what I see is that in our generation, some of us have, we take delight in trying to just tarnish people's reputation. The GSC came up to say, look, this is what that we discovered. And in reaction, the ministry said, well, we acknowledge what you said. But these are some of the problems we had, for which some of the documents you wanted, we could not make those documents available. We are investing in a system that will ensure moving forward to always have documents that and then the ministry outlined or cataloged the way whatever the 2.8 million or other expenditures were made. Does that imply that the ministry has eaten or has stolen? It's troubling, and this will not get our country anywhere, especially where every time we want to just accuse people falsely. You listen to Wonder, he's off, but you listen to him. People already have the mindset, oh, this person ate money. Oh, that money got missing. This other money got missing. And at the end of the day, that also affects the image of the country. Because the international partners are listening to all of those rumors and lies and say, we heard it on so and so. We heard it in the country. We heard it on so network that X amount of money that we pumped into library was stolen. The money was not accounted for. At the end of the day, what happens? All librarians will feel it because we will not get the sort of aid that we're supposed to receive because of some lies. We have to,
because Mr. Wanto want to bring the CCC back to power.
We have to eschew from all of that. But again, let me try to take Mr. Tupa. I don't know. Every time he calls, he's trying to make his way he doesn't get through. Yes, Mr. Tuma, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Saba. I think I'm clear now.
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, thank you. Let me say hi up to your studio guest, Honorable Mobile. I want to say hi up to you and your panel, Mr. George Kennedy, and others in studio. And you know, as I said, Mr. Wanto, I want to say hi up to you as well. But as I said, Mr. George, when you have a platform for discussion of national issue, I think what we should be doing, if at all you invite any individual, anyone to the platform, the person should come with a very independent mind about the country. And with no disrespect to Mr. Wanto, he's a very fine young man, energetic young man. But coming to the platform with a preconceived mind, I think it is not fine or helpful for our country. As it relates to the topic on the discussion that you people are discussing, I think the GSC report was very clear. It showed out to the Liberian people, but you know, some people carrying it on the political wing to say that, oh, the Liberian government through the finance ministry have eaten the country money. You see that they said yesterday that Mr. Tue were corrupt. Now it is now Gafwan that is being corrupt. When people come to the DESCO with such a mind, I think the DESCO will not be hurting for the listening audience. So it's just a passionate plea to Mr. Wanto to just leave from that cycle of the partisanship and just focus and be so nationalistic when it comes on the platform. And that's my take on that issue.
Okay, so let's go to the second issue. If you still want to hold the line, you can hold the line. But let's go to the second issue quickly. But let me begin with you, Representative Molba. Yesterday, the national government announced a reduction in the price of our staple rice and flour. But the question is that sustainable? But before then, let's try to play this interview conducted with the vice president who's been heading a committee that worked, and as a result of its work, it recommended, and the president took the decision. Let's listen to the vice president quickly.
With different entities responsible for different commodities, 3 or 4 in a daytime. And so today we started 10:30 a.m. We were dealing with rice, flour, and petroleum. So the rice people came in first. We're there with them. We're there with the sugar of the flour people. We just concluded with the petroleum people. Monday is holiday. There's a communication going out now to APN terminal, to the MPA, and there will also be a communication going out to those into eggs and frozen food and sugar. So these are the actions we'll be looking at on Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll come here about 10:30 in the morning, and we expect to take the frozen food people, the eggs people, sugar, and talk to APN terminal and that of Freeport, the Port of Monrovia, because there are a lot of complaints about high charges from APN terminal. Every month they increase their charges. We want to look at it because some of the commodities, they are increasing charges on our political commodities. If you start increasing charges on rice every month and increasing charges on petroleum every month, some of these things, when things get difficult there and the country goes into some problem, APN terminal will not be here. So we'll be advising the president of the government to take the appropriate step that this country is under his watch and he must safeguard the country.
Okay, so as a result of all the consultations with the major stakeholders, business people, and all of that, finally, the committee headed by the vice president recommended for a reduction in the prices of some of the basic commodities like rice, our staple, and flour as well. Representative Molba, let's hear your take on that.
All right, Sober. I think from my end, I think the government is doing well. I must commend them for that. The reduction of our staple food rice to that of flour and other commodities. But let me say this. I think this is just for, because I love to be real based on what I learned. I think this is just for the short time, right? Within a short time, yeah, we can do that. But when you look at sustainability, that's another thing of it. Whether we can sustain the price, because the price says an artificial price. So to sustain that price, we need to take so many things into consideration. One we need to take into consideration is the global market fluctuation, price, whether the prices for rice will remain the same in the global market or whether it will go up. We also take into consideration the shipping cost. We take into consideration international supply chain disruption, right? So there are so many obstacles that could stop sustainability of the price that we have. But one thing about that is this. Sometimes when you force this on our people, especially the business people, when you force this, what will happen? It create shortage, one, black market. Then you find out that people will be smuggling goods from Liberia because the rate is so low. They either carry to the neighboring country, sell Leon, Guinea, and other area to sell because of the high price. So there are things that the government needs to take. I feel that there are some things the government needs to do. One, if you have an effective mechanism in place at all of the border, because if we keep this price the way we see it, as the president announced it, we have people who feel that they cannot generate the amount here, the profit here. They will be putting their rest in truck like the fuller to take a Guinea or other country. So we need this mechanism at the very entry points, so that when goods going out, people can stop it to come back to our country. So another one we need to look at is the issue of the borderline, right? The borderline, because most often we find out that when it's difficult, most of our people now, especially the business people who selling rice, most of them are fuller people. They may place it in the truck, most of these rice, and send it out of the country. So for me, I think that we need to look at it from all perspectives, especially for the administrative complexity of the government. We also need to look at it too. Yeah.
So you don't think that the recent reduction is in the prices of the prices of rice, flour, and others, you don't think that it's sustainable?
It's a good thing, but to sustain it, no. Cover George, I would not like to lie to the Liberian people. To sustain it, maybe we will go until the end of the year, but something will happen in between. It could be the issue of price fluctuation from the global market. It could be one thing. I said that it could be shipping costs. It could be international supply chain management. Anything could happen in between there. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from Reverend Toll. Reverend Toll, you heard. Yes.
Yeah, let me just lay my advance, my solution point for that. What I believe government need to do to have this price at where we have it, $14, the government also need to invest. Although they have other program coming or agricultural program coming on, they also need to invest in purchasing outside of Liberia. The government need to bring in their own rights, right? We cannot leave it just on the business people. The business people control the market. Let government take part in it. Also, yeah.
Okay, all right. Like maybe LPRC bringing in petroleum. Okay, but let's hear from you, Reverend Tor.
So
yes.
Quickly, man. Let me just interrupt a little bit. I want to say something to the honorable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So let's hear from Moses. Let's hear from Reverend Tor, because he's always funny.
Okay. Let him go. I will talk.
Reverend Tor, let's hear from you. Do you think the reduction?
Thank you very. Yeah, thank you very much. I think with regard to the issue of the rice, based on the intervention and the meetings that were held, I think that committee held meeting with the business people, and that's why they came up with that recommendations. I remember sometime during the regime of the CDC, when the price of rice went up, we also were engaged into the process and were able to meet the rice importer. And I think the issue is to be able to have a frank discussion with the people and have an understanding before you can drop the price. And I think it can be sustainable if at all there is a plan in terms of keeping it at that level. So it's a discussion point that has to do with profit. It has to do with the business people not losing. And it also has to do with the Liberian people also not being, facing hardship. So there's a balance that you have to strike. So this committee, there should be a standing committee that should be able to work on this process. That's the only way you'll find a sustainable component of this rice price or whatever commodity price going on. And I think also if government try to in or arrest agenda, and agriculture is part of that, is to see how we can be able to move and grow more food into our country, grow more rice, and that we will be able to sustain it. But I think the committee, in my wisdom, they were able to meet the business people to be able to come up with the recommendations. If it was not done at all, then I would say that it cannot be sustainable. But as long as they did what is supposed to be done with regard to engaging the business people and having an agreement and understanding, then it can be sustainable.
Okay, let's go there and take Mr. Topa. Mr. Topa is joining us by phone. Mr. Topa, let's hear from you. Do you think the reductions and reducing the prices of rice and flour and other commodities, do you think we're going to sustain the reduction, going to sustain those prices tomorrow?
Mr. George, I want to say thank you. And we all, as well-meaning Liberians, need to be grateful to God that indeed we have a listening president, a president who listens to the plight of the citizen. And we want to be grateful that indeed 2023 election did not let us down, but we were able to elect Ambassador Joseph Nyimapuaka and we were able to Lieutenant Honorable Jeremiah Pankum. Owing to the fact that indeed these two individuals, these two great leaders, were elected into our nation to become our heads. That is why you see, by virtue of their elections, today's day Liberia is now experiencing something called reduction in rice price. Rice is our staple that you can rid of. You saw a few months or a few years ago where Liberians were jumping over bars while tearing women, tearing laptops on them. It was all around public and the podcasts were all over social media. But now the price of rice has been stable and is not being reduced on our market. So that we should be able to give thanks and praise to God.
Yes. So the question now is, do you think the reduction is sustainable? Can we sustain it?
And someone understands the sustainability of the price of rice right now in Liberia, it is actually clear that indeed we can sustain it. It just needs that we should have a leader that will be able to listen to the plan of this citizen. So by sustaining it, once the president is listening every blessed day from the market and the vice president is there advising, the price of rice will continue to be sustainable and it will actually be stable because of what? The vice president have agents on the market or on a fee that relates to him on a daily basis. So therefore, he will pass those information or those data from the fee over to the president. And
we don't have control over the global market, and we don't have control over that. Tomorrow, it's possible that the price could step up. So what's going to happen?
So, if they don't have a leader that will be able to listen to the plan of this citizen by this time, the price of rice will remain at $16.75 because that is how some people who love corruption, who the DNA is actually shown to be corrupt, will always find the loopholes to exploit it in their own citizens. But because they have a leader that can listen, that's why you're seeing the price of rice have been reduced.
Okay.
Why they say that it reduced on the global market, but because of the leadership we have on ground, that is why you see that the price of rice have been reduced, and not them been reduced reduced by a month, where it was banned, it was reduced by what proclamations, by announcement from the presidency.
Okay.
So we have a leader that is corruption free.
Okay, so hold it on. Let's hold you there. Let's try to get to Moses quickly. Moses, we are looking at the sustainability of the reduction. We heard yesterday the government announced the reductions in the price of rice and flour, and I'm sure also commodities will follow. Do you think we can sustain those reductions?
So, absolutely not. And let me speak to Honorable Morva and the gentleman on the phone. We have to go beyond party politics. Honorable, the role of the government is to create the enabling environment for businesses, not to compete. So to insinuate or to suggest that, oh, well, I think government should get in the business and start importing, that's not the role of the government. The role of the government is to create the environment for people to thrive. That's how it goes. The current situation we are faced with, the intervention by the government, where somebody just sat in the executive mansion and made a proclamation that as of today, a bag of rice is going to be $14 or whatever. It's not sustainable. It is artificial. The first question I would like to ask those who support this view, that through proclamation you can manage this problem. The Liberian government, as a country, do we have that enforcement power? The man in Lofa, the man came to Monrovia, bought 100 bags of rice and took them to Lofa. Is that where you're going to tell the man to sell the bag of rice for $14? Do you have that enforcement power? In Grand Jita County, you would tell the full man to sell a bag of rice for $14? Do you have that enforcement power? I'm not a student of economics, but when I was in grade school, the thing I learned was that what? Supply and demand. The higher the demand, the higher the price. The more, if you have availability of the goods on the market, the lower the demand, the lower the price. This is basic economics. That's how it works.
Okay, so let's go there and welcome Representative Fodim Fambule to the program. He's the chair of the House Committee on Economy. We'll get to you, Representative Representative Fambule. Welcome to the program. We'll get to you very shortly. Yes, George.
So I wanted to clarify a certain thing. Before this rice price issue, government usually subsidized the rice market in what way? In the form of tax waiver and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that with these meetings that went behind the scene, there were probably some engagement to reduce taxes, some duties, some taxes on the rice that led to the reduction. And that reduction of $14 is a wholesale price. It's not the retail price.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is when it comes to the gasoline, the act creating the LPRC grant that entity the right to import petroleum. That is not the case with rice. So, honorable, the government cannot be importing rice in the sense that this is a free enterprise economy. The private sector should drive the private sector.
So what are you saying?
In
another word, are you saying that the reduction in the prices of rice and flour and other commodities, do you think they can be sustained? Can we sustain them?
They can be sustained except at a unbalanced force from the global market. But in as much as the prices on the global market remains the same, lower the same, the issue of fees, insurance, clearing costs, and all that thing that the government has to play have roles to play, they can try to ease some of them.
But you just listen to Moses. He said the government doesn't have sufficient enforcement power.
Okay, so my colleague was trying to say that someone buying a resin Monrovia for $14, they can sell it in Grand Gita for $14. It will never be the same.
Taking into consideration
transportation costs.
But if you reducing prices, it should be across the entire country.
This is wholesale price. It was $16.75 wholesale price before, prior to this statement. The wholesale price now is $14. So you can go.
So they're buying it from here in Monrovia.
$16.75.
No, the person buying it from Monrovia.
I wholesale.
So take it to
Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, just give me 30 seconds. Let me say something. Yeah, quickly, guys. Or just 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds, please. Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm sure we all will agree on it. We can even agree that, hey, the wholesale price, the deduction is $14. And the government dictates that, hey, the regular bag of rice, the 25K, is going to be hypothetically $8. If the government makes that pronouncement that it's going to be $8, and you have a significant increase in the demand, nobody will buy a bag of rice in that country for $8. Because the higher the demand, the higher the price.
That is not what is going on here. What is going on here, Mr.
Okay, go ahead.
When you go to buy the market, the wholesale price, that which government taxes imports.
1 minute.
When you buy it at wholesale price, they not announce retail price.
Okay.
That's the information I'm providing to people here.
No, but George, what I was saying, yeah, George, what I was saying quickly, we agreed that the wholesale price is $14. If the wholesale price is going to be $14, the people in rural Liberia, the men transporting the bag, the people who come to Monrovia and purchase and go to Dredru, go to Nimba, go to other places in the country. Obviously, there's going to be a hike in the price of rice.
Can you listen to me provide this information for you? Because you are still listening. When you the Lebanese man or Liberian man import the rice in Liberia and you are only to sell at wholesale level, you're not supposed to sell retail, you'll be selling it at $14. When you the dealer, you the middleman, you buying it from here to carry to local country to go sell, you buy it at $14. You know that you have to pay transportation costs, you have warehouse costs and other things. This whole rice price could be around $15 or $15 something cent at retail. There's a difference between retail and wholesale. That is the information I want to provide. The wholesale price prior to this information was $16.75. If you buy from 25 to 100 bags, they give you certain quantity of bags free, which also help to subsidize your cost in the port. So these are practical realities.
Okay, let's hear from you, Representative.
So not from the side.
Representative Mulba, let's hear from you so we can get from Representative Forty Fambola quickly. Yeah, let's hear from you, Rep.
Okay, so let me just one up on so many things that I came from your panelists. One person make mention of when I said that Liberia could import rice, and they said no, there's no one doing that. So let me give you country. Cote d'Ivoire, they are one of those importers of rice. In Cote d'Ivoire, they spend $722 million every year. We have Benin. Benin also spends $653 million. Benin. We also have South Africa. South Africa spends $634 million. So in short, anyone can import rice, right? That's the market. But I go along with what Moses said, right? It depends on the type of market we have here. But let me go to another one. With those importers, we have China, we have India, we have Thailand, we have Bangladesh, we have Singapore. But here's the thing. Also, when I talk about sustainability is what we're discussing on. I love for the discussion to be cohesive. Here's the point of sustainability. When I say that it depends, because I'm looking at the global market. Now, the present rate of rice, let's look at the present rate of rice. 25 kg rice. 25 kg rice in Philippines is being sold for 900 peso, which is 50.7 USD. In India, It been sold for 880 rupees, which is $11 USD. In China, they sell it for 77 yuan, which is 11 USD. So let's look at the shipment cost. International supply chain disruption, whatsoever may happen, but meaning the shipment cost. When you attach the shipment cost to what we have outside there, to come here in Liberia with rice, the price will go up. Another aspect of it is when we talk about the $14, the price $14. $14 is the price that's the wholesale price. Whether at the port, that's the wholesale price. But then let's look at what's happening now with the Fuller stoves, right? The Fuller guy get there, get the middleman, they get there to the port, buy the rice, bring it to sell. So at the rate of $14, the Fuller man will not sell it to the customers. Their customers now, we the people, right? The grassroots. This Fuller man will not sell it for $14. What's the profit range? You need $1 or $1.50. So now, because what the president has pronounced today, when you get to the Fuller stove, you will see the price of rice being sold for $15. Some area $15.50, right? Because what you do, the people have to make profit. And remember also, there are people who have purchased their goods, huge amount of goods, and they are there. They will be losing. Can we allow them to lose throughout, or maybe a little
So
bit?
in essence, Representative Mulba, in essence, you are saying that we cannot sustain this reduction in the prices of flour and rice.
For flour, rice, and sugar, based on the global market fluctuation rates, the rate outside there. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's welcome Representative Fode Famule quickly. Rep, welcome to the program.
So, Soba, where are you taking your massacre from?
No, sorry. I want to say Representative Fode Famule.
Sorry.
How you doing, sorry?
I'm doing good, and let me say hi to my colleague, Honorable Moluba, and all of your panelists. I'm trying to squeeze in a little time at least to be able to provide my own thought about the conversation. But thank you again for the invite.
Okay, so you've met us talking about the latest, government statement yesterday that spoke about the reduction in the prices of flour and our staple food rice. Now the question is, can we sustain these reductions? Although earlier we spoke about the government's, the Ministry of Finance reaction to the GSC report, when the ministry said, well, there was absolutely no no misappropriated fund at all, contrary to what the GSC reported. So let's get your thought.
So I will start with what I heard you guys discussing, the issues of the rice. I feel strongly that with the policy being put in place, within the short space of time, it will have serious impact on the sector. I say this to say, there are other fees that are attached to the cost of rice. If government intentionally cut those fees out, the investors will be able to reduce the prices. There are things that are beyond the country control in terms of how those local commodities get to our market. If there's a major international conflict where the route of shipping is embarrassed and investors are afraid to put a ship on a given sea, between you and I, it would carry every different goods prices up. But as it stands, that amount of taxes that government believe was not necessary, they just win it back. And if they keep that process running, they can sustain it. That's a clear economic policy I think the government has been able to put in place to help see whether the staple food of the country can have some level of, the local community can have some level of freedom and be able to find something to purchase with the remaining money in question. But I believe that policy is sustainable, is more processed and analyzed. I pray that the shipping route will remain consistent and there will not be much disruption into that process.
Now, so if the shipping route was not consistent, we don't have any control over the global price, and at the end of the day, there's a step up. Well, how do you think the ordinary people will see it? How do you think they're going to describe the government? Maybe they'll be thinking that the government lied to us again.
No, the first thing is that every government that has an agenda to sustain her own people who find economic options. As it stands, government has an option to subsidize rice. If they are convinced that we need to keep this rice price at $14, they will be able to put in place every measure to ensure that the price is kept at $14. Taking into considerations the impact on the economic on the world stage, they could subsidize that sector at any given time. What I'm arguing, my own side of the story is that government need to expand the revenue base to keep such subsidy running consistently, because you will be losing millions of dollars, and you need to be able to sustain it and get other sector moving forward. So that could be something that government can sustain, because the political goals. An attempt to find increase in that price, the regular citizens will feel it directly, and no political actors will want to go down that route.
Okay, let me ask your colleague, Representative Mulbah, do you agree with your colleague?
As Formula said, Honorable Formula said, I think I agree with him. It's a political goose, right? You have to use the cash flow to contain it, and two, you have to put together those enforcement mechanisms. Now, people will be out there, inspector will be out there 24 hours to make sure the price is stable. There's nothing like hijacking the price. So I believe that, and I think it can work. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from Mr. Tukpa quickly from this end of the discussion. Yes, Mr. Tukpa.
Yeah, thank you. Like I incited into my opening statement, when it comes to the aspect of discussing the rice issue. Rice is a political commodity, and actually when you have a good political will in your country, that if your government is actually willing to listen to the public, that government can stabilize the price of rice throughout. If at all there is no external forces acting upon it. That is, if the government will not be like the previous government, who will always be thinking how to exploit it, citizens where Liberians were jumping over wire for rice issues. But you see now that we have a government that is listening to our citizens.
Okay.
That is why you're seeing that the rice is now being reduced to the price of about $14. If the government was not very sincere, by this time, we're going to be looking at $16.75.
Okay.
When the government has thought wise that the citizen needs to be able to be satisfied. That's why you see them with all of what is unfolding. The government has said, let us reduce the tax on this one, let's give this one out, and allow the citizen to have at least a very good and a stable price.
Okay, so, thank you. You made your point. You made the point already. Yes.
Yeah, so let me just throw something in, right? Like, take for instance, India, the rice is sold for 880 rupees, right? So the businessman is buying the bag of rice, 25 kg in India, just for $11 US. So $11 US, when you bring it to Liberia and you say that $3 profit, right? Or $14, you still got $3 profits, right? So the thing here is this: the government, as Foda said, they can balance it, right? To take out the tariff. If the government can take out the tariff throughout, I think the price will be stable. Yeah.
Yeah, Honorable, those are the subsidies that we're talking about. The government provides on the political commodities. Mind you, let me inform the Spaniard that the rice price is going to drop further. Even gasoline price is going to drop. Don't be surprised to see them dropping because they're political commodities.
How far will it drop? How far will it drop?
I can tell you right now. The market the other will not say soon.
You tell me say $9 there, I will not believe it.
The government, as
the government has
yes. Yeah. Yes, come in.
So let be realistic. The issue with regard to the price right now, I think it cannot go below that. To be real, We had some conversation with the rice importer, and we heard what they said. They said when we had a meeting with them during the time of John Weah, they said they could sell the rice for $14. That's what they said. They could sell the rice for $14, but there are a lot of things that government was adding as regard to the issue of the taxes and other things, and they were not willing to lose. So as long as the government is willing to be able to make sure that she don't have additional tariff and taxes on those commodities, eventually the price can be stable for some time. And as I said, don't just do it from the political end. Has a standing committee that will be able to monitor this whole process. So the rice is important for the period. After every 6 months, there importation of rice in the country. The rice that come in the country is stay about 6 months, and they put in for another one. It comes in again. So you have that mechanism put into place, and it can be sustained based on the fact that you are not putting in a human benefit into that rice business. And I think those things have been going up because people have human benefit in it.
Yes, thank you. So let me just say something quickly. Look, we as a country, we cannot legislate. Are you there? As a country, we have to put our
yes, so quickly, just got.
Yeah, quickly. I just want to say that as a country, what we're discussing here is basic economics. We cannot legislate. It has to be this way. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she provided subsidy, and we still have the same problem. Mr. Weah provided subsidy. We still have the same problem. Past administration, Samuel Doe and the others, they all provided subsidy. We still have the same problem. Because why? The problem we have is basic economics. Nobody can sit somewhere and say it's going to be this way when the market forces are saying the other thing. Let me just stop there.
Saba.
Yes, sir.
Let me just say this to you. In the face of government providing subsidy that has to do with the cost, another way government can provide subsidy in the sector is to say, okay, we'll take what is shipping. We're going to buy our own ship and ensure that our product can be brought to our market consistently, void of any other intervention. Government could move in. If the ship costs 10 million, they go and arrange with a company and say, we'll give you the first 2 million, we'll pay you in installment, but we want this ship to only bring in our rice. Where our investors are going out there to negotiate for ship to bring in rice, that ship will be available to transport the different rice. 2, they could build infrastructure to improve local production. And I think the government is more interested in building infrastructure. Those infrastructure will include roads to reduce waste of local production. So if those infrastructure are built in terms of road, ensuring that local community can bring their product to Monrovia or other market, believe me, the high importation will reduce. The next thing you need to do is to be able to build a reserve. You should be able to study the market, understand the number of the level of demand, establish a buffer where when there are scarcity, move in and supply the market. Because sometimes the investor want to put up a perceived scarcity to be able to increase the price to make more profit. So government should be able to set our own buffer where should invest in that sector and ensure that there are millions of tons that are on the standby. That where in any investors who want to create a false alarm in the market, they can step in and be able to supply the market. So all of these different policies are things that the government have the capacity to regulate and ensure that they can keep prices stable. It's just simple economics. It's just simple. And if they are driving into that direction, believe me, I think they can be able to achieve their goal.
Okay. Thank you, Reb. Thank you very much. I just received this press statement again. President Boyaka makes additional nominations and appointments in government. President Joseph Imabwaka has nominated and appointed additional officials in key positions of government, affecting the Law Reform Commission, the Governance Commission, the local government of Mangibi County, and the National Food Assistance Agency. Let me just read key names. These appointments, where applicable, are subject to confirmation by the Liberian Senate. Those nominated and appointed are Law Reform Commission, Councillor Bono M. Vama, Chairman, I think we had in a few weeks ago, and of course, Councillor Masa Jaliba, Commissioner at the Law Reform Commission, Governance Commission, Mr. Matthew Bala Colley Jr., Commissioner, National Integrity System, Local Government of Mangibi County, Reverend John W. Smith, City Mayor, Marshall City. Okay, let me leave it at that. Now, gentlemen, let's try to listen to two videos to finalize our last discussion, to finalize our last topic. And it has to do with the press appearance of Senator Darius Dillon. Senator Dillon appeared on a local radio just yesterday, and he said that the economy, but we're going to play the tape, the economy is still in the septic tank. And besides, we have a video of the Minister of Finance explaining about some of the major efforts that's been done by this government to improve the economy. So it means that Dillon spoke as if he doesn't know, whether there's effort being made by this government that he also brought to power. Let's listen to Dillon first, and then we'll listen to the Minister of Finance quickly.
Honorable George, we are administration. You have said that the economy of the country was in a septic tank. I mean, at a certain point in time, you felt that the septic tank was already closed without even thinking anything. Currently, Senator Dillon,
where is the economy?
Where is the economy?
Okay, I was expecting that question. You think to take economy from the septic tank that was kicked in a septic tank is in a small thing?
Is it still in the septic tank?
Of course, we got to use detergent, we got to use solvent and everything to water down that thing there so we can take care of the septic tank. You think I come in and say everything all right because I'm privileged to be part of the Bwaka's administration? No. The economy, even the president in his honesty on 26th day said that things are tough. And he constituted a committee by the vice president to go look at these things so that we can help our people and the economy. There are plenty of charges in the port that we need to look at and cut it down. There are plenty of different things that we must do. Who told you Akami can sit down here and make one convenient statement because I'm part of the government and say it rose out that the economy is now reaching to heaven? No, it's CDC let it kick.
In the septic tank.
In the septic tank.
And in 1 year, 8 months, it's still in the septic tank.
Yeah, you got to.
Let's end there. In 1 year, 8 months, it is still in the septic tank. Okay. Now, let's hear from the Minister of Finance.
You must continue to run. You wouldn't reach a point. The economy is such that you cannot rest. Even if you're making progress, you must continue to work, and that's why we're on. Well, bread and butter. Let me say this. You see, we're talking about constraints to growth, constraints to job creation. One of two constraints that we talk about, and you see us tackling those constraints with all the fibers of our being. Energy, infrastructure, especially rural infrastructure. Why are those things important? People may not understand the link with the bread and butter. Now, based on what we've done so far, people are now leaving from here, going to Zwedru in 7 hours. Before, they were taking sometimes 2 days, 1 week, and were passing through other countries. Even now as we speak, an MTA buses can move from there in rainy season and go as far as Wanjima, go to the southeast in the rainy season. The cost of transportation has reduced because MTA and other cheaper means of transport. The money saved means that more money in the pocket of those people.
Okay, let's end it. Just a brief remarks from the minister there. Now, gentlemen, do you see any do you see contradictions? Because Dillon said the economy is still in the septic tank. It's still kicked in the septic tank. And if you listen to him, it appears as if he was sounding like the government is not doing anything at all. There's no incremental progress. But you listen to the Minister of Finance, he said, well, we are working and we'll continue to work. You see what is happening with the roads. People are leaving from Monrovia in a short distance, reaching to rural parts. You also see the issue of electricity, and you talk about public transport. Gentlemen, let's hear from you. Do you see the statement made by Dillon as a mockery to the CDC or a mockery to his own government? Let's hear from you, Representative Mulba.
Yeah, I think when you listen to Dillon said we have to take it from the separate end, the economic from the separate end, and we have to wash it. So there's a process. The process of washing is to make it better. Then you listen to the quote unquote the finance minister. The finance minister used the word. He said Brian Butler, figuratively, Brian Butler me it getting better. So I think they both individually are on track. But then deep down, Dillon was referring to the
I come in. What is the track that Dillon was on? Because you heard Dillon clearly. He said it is in the septic tank. So it means that he says
it was in the septic tank. It means
I'm coming now. He said it was left in the septic tank by CDC. So they asked him, they said, okay, but 1 year, 8 months now, or 6 months, it says still in the septic tank. He said yes. So it means that there's absolutely no progress has been made. So don't you see contradiction by 1 year from now?
I think you can play that again from the initial stage. I think you misquoted Dillon.
Okay. Okay. Let me hear from Representative Fode Masu, Fode Fambula quickly. I got a Massacre guy who always So Fode, let me hear from you, Chief.
So, Saba, the issue of acting on the basis of the economic is a clear economic question. You ask the engineer, what is the problem on the car? And then say the car here, the car got startup problem. When you buy a new starter, the car will start. You leave the engineer, the mechanic, not the engineer, but the mechanic, you say the car got startup problem. You change the starter, the car will start. When you ask a man who is not an engineer, asking, you are driving the car and it just stop, it's not starting. What happened to the car? The man will tell you, as far as concerned, the car spoke. The man will tell you, man, say, somebody the car spoke. One man is telling you, this is the solution. The finance minister is clear. He's speaking from an economic standpoint. The journalists want to get a propagandist position. And it is from that point Senator Dillon was speaking. I think I cannot speak for him. But what if I say, look at the growth rate in Liberia from 2023. Look at the growth rate. Go back. The first thing is that in 2023, when Dillon was saying some of these things, inflation was at 10.1%.
Honorable, Soba, let me just say something quickly. Honorable, let me correct something here. I see you trying to shift a blame on the media.
No, don't speak for me now. Let me just learn. Don't speak for me.
Let me just say something.
Let me learn.
I listen to you, and
no, you are not concluded.
Yeah,
I have not concluded my thoughts.
Honorable, just a few seconds, please. Just to be
so we have been learning that you want assume what I was going to say.
No, but honorable, you made a statement. You made a very profound statement, and which doesn't represent the truth in the country.
So let me learn that I live in the country and I'm looking at the number.
It doesn't mean that you can make.
Let me just learn, then you will speak.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll come in there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And sometimes when you look at the number will help you. In 2023, the economy, if you look at the numbers, inflation was at 10.1% and there was 4.6 growth rate at that time. In 2023, look at the numbers, the facts. In 2024, when President Bouakai took over, inflation dropped from 10.1 to 7.5. That's a major shift. That's a major shift. And there was the growth for 2024 was 5.2. Look at the World Bank report. In 2025, the year we find ourselves, inflation has dropped to 6.1. And the growth for this year is 5.4. Not less than 5.2 to 5.4. So what I'm saying is that, yes, even if it was in the toilet for the propaganda side, the reality say there's some level of economic improvement, and government is explaining that improvement. And the law is trying to put it in his context that we're trying to fix it, take it from in the pig, the separate thing, all those things. The reality is that there's some level of improvement where the economy was. It is not at that same point now. That is what the numbers is.
Representative, he didn't talk about level of improvement.
I say what the statistical number says.
Representative,
and Sobo, let me come in. Sobo, let me come in.
I give you two different analysis.
Sobo,
and the analysis.
They don't use figurative statement.
Sobo, let me come in to correct the honorable.
1 minute.
He's coming out. You can put in separate thing. You might be able to be figurative and speak.
Yeah.
So I gave you simple thought about the mechanic and the driver who has no knowledge about mechanic job. The economy said this car this problem.
That analogy doesn't hold. That analogy does not hold. The fact
Use
is,
your own
I come here. The fact is, Senator Delon is a member of the government. If the government is making any progress, he should know. If the government is not making progress, he should know. So is that the analogy you are drawing?
I'm saying to you, what the number tell me is that there is an improvement in the economy. That's what the number tell me.
Honorable, let me say this.
So let us look at the numbers and judge the numbers. The World Bank number in terms of inflation and growth in Liberia between 2022 to 2024.
Let me just say something. You know, I see a calculated attempt by the honorable to misrepresent the truth. The journalist asked a question. You have the chairman on the Committee of Foreign Affairs in the Senate, a friend of the president. He says the economy is in a terrible shape. The Minister of Finance, who is the expert, comes and say, hey, we are making steady progress. And you want to shut down on the journalist? Are you not displacing your anger on the wrong person?
Can you play the tape again?
The man asks a question. The journalist asks a question. And you say it is the journalist who is being propaganda.
Let me just say something that you can play the tape.
How do you shift something like that to the person?
Let me just say something that you can play the tape. What I'm saying to you, the journalists did not use or reference any statistical background to say, Delon, this is the inflation rate, this is the growth rate for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Is the economy staying in the toilet? Then you answer based on that number.
That was the question.
But the people who are having a political conversation without referencing numbers. I'm referencing numbers.
Gentlemen, let's play the tape. Let's play the tape.
Delon is not an economist. Delon, wait to approach it.
You have said that the economy of the country was in a septic
The men are getting into
I mean, at a
everything.
certain point in time, you felt that the septic tank was already closed without even thinking.
So you should show where the septic tank is also for them to go take it from there.
Where's the economy?
Okay, I was expecting that question. You think to take economy from the septic tank that was kicked in a septic tank is in a small thing?
Is it still in the
Thank you.
We gotta use the detergent, we gotta use
It's been a separate tank.
water
So
down
take
that thing.
economy from the separate thing. Let's do it.
You think I can make and say everything all right because I'm privileged to be part of the Boyka's administration? No. The economy, even the president in his honesty on 26th day said that things are tough. And he set up, he constituted a committee by the vice president to go look at these things so that we can help our people and the economy.
Thank you.
There are
Thank you.
plenty of charges in the port that we need to look at and cut it down. There are plenty of different things that we must do. Who told you I'm coming to sit down here and make one convenient statement because I'm part of the government and say it rose out that the economy is now reaching to heaven? No, it's CDC let it kick.
In the septic tank.
In the septic tank.
And in 1 year, 8 months, it's still in the septic tank.
Now, gentlemen, no, I come here. The thing is, the senator was trying to make mockery of the CDC. He didn't know that he was making mockery of the government. He didn't know that
whole propagandist position, Gabon not in a propagandist position. Gabon was very clear and very economical.
Thank you.
The man was making mockery of his government, and
that's assumption now. That's assumption. Say I believe that man wanted to be propagandist. That one is assumption. You can't speak for him.
I think Honorable Famula is completely off tangent. I don't know what he's talking about. Someone posed a question to the Honorable.
So, will you tell Senator to take his word back? How am I off target when I'm providing my kind opinion?
Yeah, being off tangent is not a profanity. It's just that you off topic. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not off topic. Up to the point where the host of the show will say that he asked a specific question. I'm providing my kind, my honest opinion, and you say I'm off target. You want for me to say what you believe in? Just tell me, I'll say it for you.
Representative Famula. Yeah. The point is the reason why Senator Dillon was asked.
So you're not asking it to take a word back because as far as I'm concerned, I'm still on target, and I'm still discussing the issue that we had before.
Yeah, don't rest assured you're on target. Now, the reason why they asked him is because he's an insider. He knows when the government is making progress. He knows when the government is not making progress. So for him to come to say, look, the economy is staying in the septic tank, it means that the government 1 year, 6 months, or 8 months, it's absolutely making no progress at all.
So let me just say this to you. Did he tell you the level of depth of the septic tank that they were taking it from you? And you just want to use septic tank. Did he tell you the depth of the septic tank in question that you're taking the economy from? How many days they would take? How many years they would take you to take that economy from in septic tank? And you just want to say in septic tank? They tell you that 4 feet septic tank or that 20 feet septic tank?
He should have said it because he brought it into a septic tank.
You should have said it. So we add the economic, the guy who advised the president on serious economic issue, the finance minister. He's telling you there's growth and they are working to ensure that the life of Liberian people is on course.
So you agree that there's contradictions between what Dillon said
Dillon doesn't speak for the Ministry of Finance.
No, but that's not it now. Then it means go ahead.
Let me just come in.
From the Capitol Hill, they don't want to criticize the senator. The senator meddled into something that he has very limited idea of. That's just a fact. He wants to groundstead to justify his during CDC time to see himself seen as a critical voice still up to today. And it's wrong. He just missed it.
You'll stop that, man. You'll stop that. You'll stop that. No. Dillon knows it. You say, oh, it's not roses.
Oh, it's not Moses. I'm not going to tell you to bring people that it's Moses. Let's stop that.
No. Please.
Delay his speech. Honorable. Look, I know you.
Don't do that.
The next speech. Please grab the next speech.
Someone get it, you'll keep it. Someone get that behind the captain, you'll keep it. Don't bring it in your discussion. Don't do that.
But the senator wants to grandstand. He wants to show that he's still that kind of independent voice. He wants to show that to defend what he said that time. Was intolerant. Let me tell you, nothing.
That was in another word. That was a mockery.
Can I ask you that question?
Can I just say something? Soba, please. Let me just say something, Soba. Can I just say something, Soba? And George, I just want to piggyback on what you said. Look, let's be honest here with ourselves. The senator misrepresented the truth. The man who manages the economy of the country is saying that they are making steady progress. That doesn't mean that they are at 100%. I think it was unwise for the senator to tell us, that instead of making progress, the economy of the country is still stagnant. That's what this man is saying. And he doesn't manage the economy. So they show that there's no coordination in the government. Senator Dillon should not be speaking like that. That's my personal opinion.
You're attacking Dillon for nothing tonight.
You see that?
Nothing bad.
Okay, I agree, Honorable.
When Moses speaks like this, it means he's on target. Meaning his question is on target. Moses, you on target, you're not off target. When you speak like this. You're on target.
Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
So let me say this to you. I was very clear. The number tells the fact. The number says there's some level of improvement in the economy. Inflation was at 10% the last time in 2023. The inflation is currently at 6.1% in this year. It means something has changed. 4%. There's some level of growth in the economy. Yes, it might not be seen like a more developed economy. I would say, okay, we're posting at 8% double-digit growth. So it's something different. The finance minister will have the time and the luxury of understanding to be able to explain the level of growth, the progress the government is making, how they are making it, because he speaks with an authority. The journalists and Senator Dillon, they were in serious propaganda move. One man trying to present an argument that he said during the campaign, and they want him to relate it to the current reality. So you either tell you say in a separate and we're taking it up, but the separate deep. Then they say no, you should not say they pay deep. Say they pay that just flat ground. Separate and a big hole.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Representative Molba, let's hear your parting comment as well.
My parting comment is that I'm discouraged. Yeah, especially the panelists tonight. Yeah, you guys, right? To just attack Dillon. I think Dillon should be out of the party.
No, the man attack Dillon.
Yeah. So anyway,
Moses on target.
The off target.
Moses on target on Dillon. Seriously.
The other problem I have with you, Orba, is that you try to blame the poor journalists who only ask a question.
No, I'm trying to lay the basis that the two people were discussing propagandist issue. They were more propagandists than providing the technical numbers. So I would not want to dive into what they were saying.
Okay, all right. Time has come over us. Reverend Dr. Chris told your parting comment.
So let me close and see what I can leave.
Okay, quickly. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm there. I'm here. Are you getting me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry. The reception has been very bad. I'm been going off and coming back in.
Your parting comment.
And but I want to thank all.
Wow. Okay. Let's leave it at that. And
you getting me?
Yes,
I want
but
to
you're
thank all
coming
my
in.
colleagues for taking back on in the show. And I would like to say there was a good show. And the issue of our situation right now, we are making some steady progress, although there are some challenges, but we must admit. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm making my party comment. Are you not getting me?
You don't.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think you made your comments already. Let's hear from Representative Fode Fambula quickly.
Oh my God.
The network is in a separate thing, and we're trying to get it out. We're working on getting it out. But the reality is that, Sober, thank you again. I've tried to really form part of the show. I think the conversation has been very fruitful. And I look forward to another time where we will have sufficient time to discuss some of the different issues. At the level of the legislature, we are working to ensure that we can help improve the image of the legislature. As it stands, there are a lot of different reform currently ongoing. There are some already in process, and that leadership are trying to put in place every measure that will help promote the issues of integrity and present a more people-centered legislature to the Liberian people. We have embarked on a more aggressive form when it comes to how we see investment in this country. We're trying to put in place measures where investors who believe that their resources will be safe in this country. We are trying to bring about the investment incentives where we're going to encourage investors who will have their resources to locate the resources into Liberia, and there should be some level of incentive given to them. For an example, in neighboring countries, when you invest something around $250 to $1 million, they give you 10-year residential clause. For a year, you always seek or ask for a visa to re-enter into the country, and no one will want to put their money into a country where they always have a single entry visa. No, we need to be able to work on some of those issues. And we're trying to see whether we can pass a policy that will ensure that those major investors of ours who are in our country will repatriate their resources into our local bank. And as I speak to you, I think the central bank is working on ensuring that they can be able to save in gold. Similar thing that is ongoing now in Ghana that has helped to reduce the rate of foreign dollars on the Ghanaian market. So in the face of all of the things we're doing, we believe in the next few months of year, there will be some major impact in the economy. And if someone is taking it from the propagandist point, they might say it was in the separate thing, but it's no longer there. It's already on the road moving towards progress.
Okay, Rep, thank you very much. Thank you. We'll make sure to again contact you. You've been one of the major leader at the House of Representatives, in the fact part of the whole reform process. So we'll have to, we'll invite you again. I mean, you along to hear from you some of the major reforms that you people have initiated, at the House of Representatives. We'll invite you again. Thank you for coming. Okay, Representative Morba. Okay, he's gone already. Moses, let's hear your parting comment, and then George, and then we can leave.
Yeah, it was a great show. Let me say a great show indeed, and let me say thank you to Honorable Family and Honorable Moba that joined us for this podcast. You, George, Sobot, it was indeed a pleasure teaming up with you guys. I think it was a very good discussion. We spoke to the issue, and I would like to pat by saying that I don't think Honorable Senator DeLong, I don't think he was very fair in his assessment of what is happening in the country. You know, I'm a critical voice, but what I can tell you is that the economy of Liberia is not in the toilet, as indicated by Senator Dillon. I think the government is making steady progress. We should commend people when they are making effort.
Surely.
The senator was being very, very negative, and that's not good for the country.
Okay,
thank you.
George, let's hear from you quickly. Your parting comment.
Thank you. The show was good, and I want to thank our guests. They were very good, especially our Honorable Fambule. He was very good. I didn't know that he was so good. I think we should encourage him coming on the show regularly.
Yeah, surely.
He has a lot more to share with us in the public. I'm not going to go back to the Dillon issue because Mr. Sandy already there with it is very good. Okay. So, we're making steady progress as a country.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just reference some of our viewers quickly. Hilton Jado says he's been watching from Greenville City. Siliki Trawari, he didn't say from where he's been watching. Vinicius Julian Bar didn't say from where he's been watching. Vamuya M. Sirleaf, he said he's been watching from Brownville City. Ophelia S. George been watching from home. Wilfred Carver, been watching from New Georgia. Clone Destiny E.K. Seaton, they didn't say from where. Burgess J.K. Lamadan from Prince City. Emmanuel Lawrington from Fishtown City. Teddy Amos Conto Jr. from Gardnersville. Mahdi Son from Brownville. Moses Momolu from the USA, been watching. Ernest Johnson from Kansas City. Ricky Young, they didn't say from where. Dukley A.B. From D19. Martin Sinway, they didn't say from where. Gloria Boyu passed away, I'm sure. Been watching from the USA. Well, thanks to all of you. We're hoping to be back by God's grace on Friday for the weekend edition. Thanks to our producers as well. Until then, Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant time.